This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Place to Be Nation Pop Experience. Welcome back to another episode of Pop Goes Degrassi, where tonight we are going to be covering White Wedding Part 1 and Part 2 tonight, as all eyes are on Mr. Simpson, or Snake, and the new Mrs. Simpson, or Miss Nelson, or if you want to call her Spike. But before we deep dive into all of that, let me introduce my co-host, Mr. John Keslalika. John, how are you doing?
Rudy, I'm doing great. The rented tux has arrived. I'm ready for our first Degrassi wedding. It seems like such a momentous occasion, and I think we'll see a few of these as we go through the series. But our first one is a memorable one, so really excited to get into it.
Yes, it is, and we'll see a couple of familiar faces from the Degrassi High television show, as well as Spike's friends come back as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have seen Kaylin, but most recently it was from the reunion episode, and Lucy here.
Yeah, this is an episode that I've definitely ignored a lot over the year. I can tell you that when watching streaming or scrolling through like replays on Pluto or anything, there's that the episode kicks off with Emma jumping out of bed, and I know, oh, okay, I can move on from this, and I don't think I've watched it as a result for several years. So sitting down with it this time was the first time in a long time, and you're right, like this really is one that I didn't recognize, sets in motion a lot of the stories that we're going to be following in the seasons that come.
So let's get down to it. Let's get into White Wedding Part 1. Mr. Simpson is with the 8th graders going over parts of the computer. He's distracted because the wedding is tomorrow. Liberty presents him with a gift from the class, and he says a few words about getting married tomorrow. Sean, JT, Toby, and Manny are talking about love, and Sean says JT has never been in love, and Manny actually calls out Sean for being in love with Emma.
So Sean right away, we got our 8th graders, our 8th grade love. You've never been in love, and you have. Oh man. just setting that tone. And hey, Grooney, way to go by the media immersion class, finally moving on in their gift giving from, I think the last 2 times it's just been some terribly cropped together Photoshop of their faces on to celebrate the end of the school year or the beginning of the school year. And here they've gone all out and grabbed a raw body snake statue, but they're stepping up in their gifting.
Mm-hmm. And so Sean is still not over with Emma, even though it's been a while.
It's been a while since we've seen that. Obviously the fight last year that kind of set things in motion where she had felt like more distant from him and seen a rougher side of him. But he is, still, it seems, has those lingering feelings for her. And we get, the shots of him kind of like looking off and kind of deep in thought as his mind drifts to the one that got away, maybe. So, one date can we consider getting away? But hey, it's high school or junior high melodrama. I'm willing to let it slide.
Speaking of Emma, she wakes up all panicked about being behind schedule as she's rushing her mom out the door. Emma has to run into the school, and as she goes into the school, Spike is looking at her pharmacy bag.
Yeah, I got to take this, she says. Emma is confused, thinks it's just headache medicine for stress or whatnot. But we know there's something else underlying, as Spike is definitely looking at this as there's something more important going on inside that bag.
Mm-hmm. In the school, Manny discusses Sean still being in love with Emma, and then Emma says no way, and then Manny tries to convince Emma to invite Sean to the wedding, but Emma says no. Manny tracks Sean down and gives him an invite to the wedding. So Manny going behind Emma's back here.
Yeah, creative interference on Manny's part, but she's, pure-hearted here. Like, definitely wants to see her friend get together in love. I'm not sure about the logistics of changing the wedding guest list so late, but it seemed like this was a bit less formal, less structured, and those new guests would be okay. Emma, and this is a through line for me throughout this episode. Probably the best Emma we've seen. She's not annoying in the stretches that she's been, like, with her convictions. She's really just excited about the wedding and kind of confused with everything going on. I loved the kind of comedic bit of her racing the school to hand in her exam paper and handing over her shoes instead to Miss Kwan, but getting them back. There's a lot of, like, good character here from Emma. This is nice moments throughout for her.
Yeah, and plus that she's grown up to take a liking to Mr. Simpson and the fact that he's marrying Spike here.
Yeah, it's something that was obviously a huge tension before with the "you're not my father" comments and thinking that he was being favorable to her at the science fair, whereas now she's really kind of embracing him as part of the family and ready to be a part of the wedding. So yeah, a really kind of growth across episodes for Emma here.
Mm-hmm. JT and Toby walk down the hall and they run into Craig. They ask him if they could come to the stag party to see a stripper. Craig says Mr. Simpson said no strippers. The boys are mad that Simpson said no strippers, and they're like, it's a rite of passage.
Of course, yeah. This is a great trope of these sitcoms or dramas of, like, we got to get the stripper for the party, and the young men definitely wanting to be a part of that. You notice that Craig has his on again, off again camera habit back as we have him in these two episodes, equipped with the camera around his neck every scene. So nice to see that come back.
Mm-hmm. Craig, JT, and Toby go to a gentleman's club trying to find a sexy woman, and they run into a bouncer. They ask the bouncer for Miss Fancy. Now, John, when I first heard this, I thought they said Miss Fanny.
But the billboard said shades of the Bada Bing Club and your trip to Satin Dolls this summer, Grooney. I mean, there's no better place to find a stripper for a stag party, I'm sure, than a weekday afternoon in Toronto. I'm sure the best talent is out there working at that point, right?
Well, yeah, I guess it was like Friday, so yeah, it must have been Friday afternoon, I think. Yeah, so. All right. I mean, don't go to those places on a Sunday afternoon at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe not the best talent reserved for that time.
No. So they asked for Miss Fancy to perform at a stag party, but the bouncer doesn't buy it and goes, "Bug off." So then Craig tries to persuade Joey to get a stripper. Joey says he will get a stripper tonight. Emma is getting her hair done. Spike goes into the bathroom with a pregnancy test, and then the wedding cake arrives, but it's not Spike's cake. Spike reveals to Emma that she is pregnant. So, John, let's go over a couple of things here. So, Craig is really trying hard to convince Joey here to get a stripper.
Joey doesn't take much convincing. We know Joey from years past in Degrassi Junior High, Degrassi High. He would obviously this would be something he's all for. And as he even points out, yeah, he's doing it because he can't wait to make Snake uncomfortable with it, and it'll be a big blast for everybody. So, Craig pushes the right buttons on Joey here, and knows how to get him to agree on hiring Fancy for the party. And then we've got the pivotal moment here of Spike finding out she's pregnant, and being able to, like, it kind of lowers her mood, as even something like a bar mitzvah cake coming in instead of a wedding cake is not a big problem for her, as she thinks there's obviously bigger things at play.
Yep. And John, the last time we had, I think, Joey on was the episode where Craig stole the car, and Joey was really mad at him. And I feel like that's like the last time we really saw like a whole Craig and Joey episode here. Okay,
yeah, good point. As like their relationship, kind of surrogate father here has grown. They definitely have more of a friendship than parent child relationship, but it's nice to see that dynamic back at play.
Yep. So and again, Spike reveals to Emma that she's pregnant. So yeah, not a good start to this wedding weekend here, John.
It introduces like some pivotal drama right away, as we know. Spike obviously was the first young mother we had, an unplanned pregnancy we had on Degrassi for years, and now faced with it again. You'd think this is something she's already navigated, but it's in a very different situation, as we'll see in the coming scenes. She has to, try to present it to Snake and see what their plans are, as their lives are already changing right away as a part of the wedding, and this is just one more element that might be that really throws a wrench into things.
Mm-hmm. Emma tells Manny Spike is pregnant, and Manny is actually like, "Oh my gosh, wow!" Like even Manny's like, "Okay, this isn't the biggest deal ever," and I don't even think Emma takes it as a big deal. It's just, how are we going to tell Simpson, really?
Yeah, Emma even says she's always wanted to have a little brother or sister, and Manny says, "Hey, my parents have like 20 siblings, so yeah, the more the merrier." You can see that this is something they've already kind of accepted and are looking forward to. A much different take than we'll see maybe from the parents who can address like more concern, or instead of the immediate jubilation that comes from the younger kids.
So Emma tells Manny Spike is pregnant, and Manny tells Emma that Sean is coming to the wedding, and Emma's like, "What the heck?" But before we get into all of that, Emma realizes she missed her 20-minute mark, and her hair becomes a disaster. This is a trademark haircut for Emma, or haircut disaster.
Oh yeah, and this will be the running visual throughout the rest of the episode. It's a really a sign of how crazy this thrown together, like what was probably a pretty well planned wedding, is getting thrown for a bunch of loops with the pregnancy, and how that's affecting everybody here. Emma's hair, I don't know. I guess it's meant to be like super disastrous. It just looks gigantic to me. I think it could be manageable, but it just shows how everything can change, and the things that get forgotten when we're dealing with that drama immediately.
Caitlin and Lucy arrive to help Emma and Spike. Caitlin says they're going to have a night out on the town, since the men and boys are having a stag party. Caitlin wants to take Spike out for one last drink and hurrah with Lucy. Again, mm-hmm. Lucy is still using her walker from all those years ago.
Yeah, we had Lucy and Caitlin come back in a reunion episode, and then we've seen them in the premiere for this show, really to tie together that older generation with our younger generation. So it's only fitting that we should get them back. It's a shame that we don't get some of the other Degrassi originals to come back, but they would filter in throughout the years. Still, this kind of core group of friends is always pleasant to see. And Lucy, not the greatest performance throughout, but but does what she can with everything here.
Imagine if Tessa Campanelli was the stripper, John.
Yeah, exactly. There will be so many options here. Have Snake as Wheels could show up as a limo driver, or as a bartender or something. But no, it's a nice homage to the original series, and obviously, Spike getting her friends who she's been able to lean on in the past with her original pregnancy with Emma, and are going to be really valuable here.
And I don't think Wheels would be the bartender after that. After his incidents.
No.
Sean is working with Tracker on a bike. Sean tells Tracker he got invited to the wedding, and Manny runs over to him. Manny says the invite was a mistake, and Sean says, "Don't worry about it." So Manny now having to tell Sean what transpired, and that Emma doesn't want you there, but she doesn't even really say Emma doesn't want you there. He's like, it was a mistake, okay? But Sean gets the hint.
Yeah, absolutely. Tracker in this episode's is a nice change of pace. We've seen him a couple times in the past, and he's been pretty one note and kind of not exactly the deepest character, but he seems really, to understand Sean here, and to be someone who's supportive as as the adult in the family, for Sean, who doesn't have anybody really there. So it was nice to see the dynamic between them as Tracker's like, hey, why don't you come with me, and we'll get out of town for the weekend, and can get your mind off of this. He can definitely see his brother's hurting over this. It wasn't even though it wasn't originally what he was going to do, the fact that it seemed to open up some hope for that rekindling with Emma now being dashed is not something Sean was looking forward to. So it's nice to see Tracker show some real empathy here.
Mm-hmm. Snake and Joey drop off some of Snake's stuff as he is moving into the house with Emma and Spike. Lucy brings up the subject of kids, and Snake says right off the bat he's not ready right now for kids, sending Spike into cold shivers, basically.
Yeah, watching this, you just feel bad for Snake. You're like, oh man, don't say this. Like, what are you doing? You can see it immediately register with Spike, who was, already a bit shaken by the fact that this is unplanned pregnancy, and having her own kind of conflicting thoughts about it. And Snake is just putting into that extra pressure on her of, oh, well, no, down the road, definitely. But we've got so much on our plate right now with moving in and just trying to start a family that it wouldn't make sense. So without even being presented with the option, she feels like he's already made up her mind for her.
Yeah, I feel it's kind of not a low blow, but who really asks, oh, our kid's on the way? It's like, we're not even married until tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you are a really close friend, you can ask that, which Lucy is, but it's like, don't ask that yet.
Yeah, let's get through the party first, right?
Mm-hmm. Speaking of parties, the stag party is off and running. And Craig is actually talking to Mr. Radich, we see. How did Mr. Radich get invited, John?
Well, he is a co-worker of Snake's at this point. So, they've graduated from that relationship of student-principal to, colleagues. So, I mean, I guess it's relatable, but it's sort of like Mrs. Teasley showing up at Donna's bachelorette party, I guess.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yes, that is a great callback right there. Yes. Wow. We all know how that went. Oh my God. Yeah, you're right. But it was like, well, I mean, I guess he was their like teacher, like assistant principal too, but it's so weird. Like he acts like he was one of the graduating classmates with Snake and Joey. It's like, no, you were the old man and you're still the old man, but Raditch can still kick it, apparently.
Absolutely, yeah. He's getting to kind of unwind here, and not that he would let his hair down physically, but yeah, metaphorically, sure enough, yeah. So we get the lighter side of Raditch, and Joey, ever the party leader, ready to kick things off here.
So the doorbell rings and Joey walks up with Craig, and it's JT and Toby. Joey's like, "We're not buying what you guys are selling," and they go, "No, we're not here to sell you anything, sir. We want to come to the stag party." And Joey goes, "Guys, even with your ages combined, you still wouldn't be able to get in." And I was like, well, if they're both 13, yeah, they'd only be 19. So, I mean, yep, they're still not old enough to get into a bar or like the stag party, too. They're not even 21 if you put their ages together.
I'm not going to correct you, man.
Yeah, 26. Oh, yeah. My bad. Whoops.
Connecticut education system at its finest right there, guys.
Oh, Forget what I just said.
But no, I think I kind of chuckled at the outfits here, which I don't know if they had left over or borrowed from the 80s party earlier in the season, but yeah, definitely some kind of Miami Vice vibes from JT and Toby as they are trying to look debonair for the stag party, and of course getting shut down immediately, and as a result even getting Craig kind of shut out from it, as Joey says, no, Craig's going to his room when that happens, so
yeah,
he's not part of this at all. Now all of our younger generation are feeling left out.
Yep. Okay. So 13 plus 13 is 26. Okay. It's not 19. Well, yeah, they would get in it with their full ages combined. I don't know what Joey's talking about. 26 is perfect.
I think Joey's making a point, but yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So then, but then, like you said, JT's like, "Oh, how come Craig gets to go and watch?" And Craig gets so mad at JT because then Joey's like, "Well, no, Craig's going upstairs now," and he's like, "I'm gonna kill you." So yeah, no, like you said, none of the teenager kids get to watch Miss Fancy when she arrives.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The girls are at a Mexican restaurant. Lucy and Caitlin try to get Spike to drink, but she says no, revealing that she is pregnant and that Snape does not want kids right now. Spike says she wants to cancel the wedding and figure out what to do about the baby. So a strong segment here from Spike as she's actually threatening to cancel the whole wedding.
Yeah, the immediate drama, thrown in, if they're not really on the same page here with family planning, then maybe it's not the fit they had thought it was, and we'll see that come up in their conversation, later on. But it's a character we've seen deal with this before, so somewhat familiar ground. But I appreciate that it's showing really the concern that would be on a young parent's mind here, in having those second thoughts. Big drawback, the awful ADR on this, as obviously trying to record outside and with the Mexican band, makes it tough for recording the dialogue. But I thought it was pretty glaring having everybody kind of talk in clearly overdubbed dubbed dialogue. If anything, the one weak part of this episode.
Mm-hmm. So Manny and Emma are upstairs in Emma's room. Manny tells Emma that Sean was not upset about being uninvited. Emma says she would like a little brother or sister. Spike runs upstairs and Emma says to her that everything will be okay, but Spike is thinking about having an abortion. And right off the bat, that's where we get our to be continued as part one comes to a close. So Spike here trying to thinking about an abortion.
Yeah, navigating familiar waters for her, but now presenting it with a daughter already in the picture. Gives a completely different weight to it. So it's a good cliffhanger. It's a good moment, and it is going to give Emma a chance to really speak her mind and interject in the family affairs here as we see moving forward.
And Manny was a little too sneaky here, and then it's like, well, now she has to right the wrong. It was like, I don't think it was her decision to. I mean, yes, this sort of wedding was like come one, come all, basically, because it's not like it was like at a fancy schmancy like hotel club or a banquet hall. It was in a park, as we'll see.
Right. Yeah, but it also sets in motion what we're going to see with the conflict in the second part, as Emma doesn't like Manny taking matters into her own hands and trying to push things along, and Emma's gonna kind of follow suit though and do her own thing.
Yep. And now the question is, John, how will the boys see Miss Fancy?
How will they? You gotta imagine there's a chance for some weird spy work here to try to get in, maybe some suction cups hanging from the ceiling, or periscope cameras coming in from the outside. What we'll see. Maybe Toby's invention from science fair would actually be useful at this point. Where's that? Let's get creative, guys.
Yeah. So before we get into part two, let's just recap it here. We're on a cliffhanger as, again, Emma's mom, who is Spike, is pregnant, and she's getting married to Mr. Simpson, known as Snake. They've been best friends forever, but Spike wants to have an abortion. So, yeah, we're on a cliffhanger here, John.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, these all, I think this aired together as one episode. The credits at the beginning, it's a special, but, when split up in syndication, we get it split for two. But a good breaking point here for the episode, as we've got all the pieces in place, and let's see how it can resolve in the second half. Let's go, guys. A lot of good tension. I like that this is, its own self-contained episode and not really needing to invite the other characters. I don't know how we would involve Ashley or Paige or Terry or even Spinner or any of those characters as a role for this. It's a good standalone here, and it shows just the strength of these characters that we've built up through the first two seasons, that we're willing to spend this full hour with them and not need those diversions into other lives.
I will say, I think it's funny that Liberty is not really involved in this episode, but her and Emma did have a falling out where JT and Toby have kind of been there for Emma for the most part, and Manny.
Yeah, JT and Toby helped save her from pedophiles, so they've earned their spots as ushers, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, how are they involved? But it's like, okay, I guess, because they, like, JT and Emma have been friends forever with Manny, and I don't know, it just seems weird that they're invited, but okay, I get what you're saying.
I hear you. I mean, I have, however many students now, I can't think of inviting one of them to a wedding.
I've had, not like my sisters, but I've seen, teachers go to, past, with students' weddings. It's like, really? Who does that? But I can understand why they do it.
Yeah.
One was a COVID wedding, and I think one of the teachers came back with COVID too.
Oh, geez. There you
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, John, let's get into White Wedding Part 2. As we leave really right off where we start where we left off, as Emma and Spike are arguing about keeping the baby or not. Spike then lets it slip that she made the mistake twice. So a callback to when Spike was pregnant with Emma and how she was deciding on what to do with it. She ultimately kept Emma, but it's like she doesn't really want to do this again because Mr. Simpson doesn't want kids now. But Emma takes it as that she was a mistake as well, John.
Absolutely, yeah. Got to be careful with your words here, Spike. It's like that's right in front of your daughter, and your daughter doesn't want to be seen as a mistake. And obviously, not something she meant, but that to speak of Emma in that way. But I can definitely see why it would be taken as such. But part of just the stress that would be involved in here is we see the characters kind of acting a bit out of turn and. Hopefully, getting to resolve this in a meaningful way.
Mm-hmm. So, as the stag party continues, JT and Toby are staking out Joey's house, waiting for the stripper to perform. Toby is hesitant, but JT says they are doing nothing wrong. Yes, spying on people and staking out somebody's houses is not wrong at all, JT, and it's their right and passage as men to do this.
There you go. Was JT the instigator in them watching porn earlier, or was it Toby? Because it's true to character either way, but this is something that we've seen from them throughout. I can't just recall which one was like, here, let me find the websites that my brother.
Oh, that was JT. Yep, that was JT, and I think he said his cousin had websites for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So JT is a little horn dog.
Absolutely.
Like he never really grows out of it either, because we're gonna see him really progress into a. I don't know if you say a sex addict, but he's really into girls a lot.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, a young man growing up at this point in Toronto, who can blame him? Blue Jays aren't doing much. The Leafs are always disappointing. So turn to the fairer sex. Way to go, JT.
Yep. They set up a webcam on a window, and they freak out when they see Mr. Radich. They were not. I don't think they were. I think they were surprised to see Mr. Radich. Like, what's he doing here?
There you go. Just as they were right in your camp, Gurney, that's surprised with Radich, and that notion of seeing your teachers outside of school, they don't actually live at the school. And so I can imagine the shock of seeing your teacher in a social setting like that is pretty jarring for these guys, especially with a character like Radich.
John, when's the first time you saw a teacher outside of the school in a social setting?
My third grade teacher lived on my block. So we'd see her, we're the week of Halloween here. We'd see her like out, when we were trick or treating, or just when playing on the street. So, that was something that definitely was part of my life. As far as like, I would think in high school, I saw, I would see, let's see. I saw like Dr. Freiberger's car like out once, when he was driving around, and just kind of chuckled because he had still a Kennedy Johnson sticker on his bumper sticker on his car, which is, very fitting for him to have a sticker from, the 1960s, out there on a 1990s car.
I mean, I would always see like, the paraprofessionals at like, dive bars, because like I would like go in and go get what my mom ordered for us, like at a takeout and stuff. And then like one of my paraprofessionals one of the paras that was my para, She must have been 30, I think, at the time, and I was like 8. She's working at the local pizza shop too, like at it's called Portofino's. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, hi, Miss Klein. you know, but other than like the high school teachers, it was kind of cooler because I went to a Monday Night Raw with my history teacher.
Oh wow!
Yeah, in the 10th,
never
in the ninth grade,
like social settings like that. No.
Yeah,
Monday Night Raw.
Yep, twice actually. It was kind of cool. It was cool. And then after that, it was mostly like when we were older, like 21, they would have their parent-teacher conferences, and then they'd go to the tavern right across, like right down the hill, basically.
So would you like show up and be crotch chopping your teacher and
Yeah.
like, okay, instead of thinking you were some degenerate?
Yep, and then also my mom did have the staff end of the year parties too.
Ah, okay, nice.
Yeah, so I grew up with teachers basically around my life. Yep. So Snake is ready to go bowling, as he was told that's what they were doing tonight. But Radish tells him to mellow out. It's his party, and we're gonna keep on partying.
There we go. Let's go. Let's get the party started, guys.
Mm-hmm. Not Manny. Emma is discussing to Manny what Spike said, but Manny tells her not to get involved. Back at Joey's house, Miss Fancy arrives, and Joey sends Craig upstairs to his room. Snake sees Miss Fancy and gets mad at Joey as she starts to dance. We see outside that Toby and JT fell asleep. So Manny being the conscience here and telling Emma not to get involved. This is not her battle here. But of course, Emma doesn't listen.
Nope, of course. Yeah, we're getting Emma reverting to some. For all the nice things we had to say about Emma earlier, she's coming right back to her kind of like meddling ways here, and is going to interject and make herself a part of the story here, where this is something that probably should be between Snake and Spike.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and should have been. And like as we'll see, Spike was like, "Well, I should go talk to him and stuff." It's like, no, wait until after the party. But we haven't even got there yet. So again, Emma's just like, "I gotta do something." It's like, Emma, don't get involved. And again, Craig gets sent up to his room. I was like, I wonder if he was trying to sneak down and watch from the stair railing too.
Either that, yeah, and it's a Friday, so no Monday Night Raw for him to seek comfort in. Maybe he's got some tapes related, or he can go on the websites that JT's cousin found.
Yep. And then again, Toby and JT, they couldn't even stay awake that long, and they fall asleep, and the webcam falls to the ground.
Love it. Yeah, very relatable here of the concerted efforts you would put into when you're younger of being like, I can stay up all night, or I'm going to do this, and inevitably crashing out, of course. Doing so outside a teacher's house for a stag party, not something I've experienced, but definitely would be convinced I'm mature or grown up. I can go into late hours of the night and be falling asleep in some like less conventional places.
Uh-huh. Spike and Kaylin are discussing everything that has happened over these 12 hours here, as we started in the morning, and now it's like almost 12 hours later. Spike says she needs to call Archie, but Kaylin says to wait until the morning, like what Manny is to Emma. Don't get involved, and even Kaylin's like, just wait, okay? This is not the right time here.
Yeah, you don't want to. Caitlin's a good voice of reason here, trying to say, hey, don't interject that there's something else going on now, being the party, trying to bring in such a heavy subject into it might not be the best time. But I think Spike's right to try to get in front of this, especially with the the wedding being the next day, not wanting it looming over and being in her mind, trying to have, not so much a clear conscience, but also be on the same page with her future husband here.
Mm-hmm. It's 2 a.m. as Emma is awake, and she sneaks out of the house to go talk to Snake. She steps on Toby's hand. They all scream at each other, and that's when Joey and Snake come running out. Joey gets all mad at JT, and Toby be like, "Oh, your parents must be worried about you, blah, blah, blah." Joey pulls Toby and JT in the house and makes them call their parents. I like how Toby's like, "I'm calling your parents." Like, you don't even know who their parents are, Joey.
Yeah, kind of an odd turn for Joey here, especially like I think he'd be a little deeper into the party and not exactly in the state to be turning on parent mode here, but he definitely showing some responsibility in trying to be like, hey, you guys can't have this fun and you need to go report back to your parents immediately. Maybe he just wants a clear conscience in this. He doesn't want to feel like he's contributed to their delinquency. Yeah. So, but good on Joey.
I mean, I guess it's because it was 2 a.m, and I'm surprised the party was still going at 2 a.m. the night before the wedding. And Joey's like, "Guys, it's 2 a.m. What the heck are you guys doing here? No way!" Like, I'm surprised that nobody would be like, "Hey, where are our kids? It's 2 a.m."
Well, Toby is in a broken home, and JT, we're not really sure about his family life so much. So maybe
his mom's a seamstress.
Maybe they told their parents they were sleeping over each other's houses, and so there's no cause for concern here, right?
Yeah, all we know is that JT's mom is a seamstress.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So then, again, Toby throws JT and not Toby, Joey throws Toby and JT into the house and makes them call their parents. Snape asks Emma if everything is okay. Emma tells Snake that Spike is pregnant, but Snake is angry that Spike didn't tell him.
Emma Snake really jumping the gun here. I think this is a bad response on his point. He has no idea that, the timing of this. I don't think he's considering that the news is 7-8 hours old at this point. So, the fact that he had so much going on already that, he hasn't even had a moment alone with Spike for her to bring this news to him. Except unless he's putting the pieces together that, he had seen her earlier that day when he had, railed about how he didn't want kids right away, and maybe starting to, hopefully he can put that together.
Yeah, I know. But again, Emma kind of screwing everything up by getting involved where she shouldn't have been.
Yep.
I was going to say, I don't know how you feel about that. Yeah.
I mean, her heart's in the right place, but, a very teenager-like behavior to follow that conviction maybe in a way that's not the most productive.
Yep. So it's the next morning. Spike is looking for Archie. They've tried calling him, but he's not picking up his phone. And then Snake walks right in through the door with Joey, and he is mad. Snake wants to know why Emma told him and not Spike. And Spike doesn't even know that Emma ran out the door and snuck out of the house to tell Snake that Spike was pregnant. But they leave, and then Kaylin is trying to tell Emma not to worry and act like the wedding is still happening. Manny tells Emma to stop acting like a baby, and Emma tells Manny to mind her own business. Manny said the same thing to her, but Emma didn't listen, so Emma walks off. Alrighty, so Snake and Spike, they run off to a pier, basically, or, they walk off, and Manny and Emma getting into it now, too.
Yeah, this is that confrontation of trying to preach one thing to her friend and finding that she's acting in the same way that she had warned against. Kind of showing up for Emma, and this is pretty consistent with Emma throughout, as she will say to do one thing and then act a different way. When she was spreading gossip about Liberty inadvertently, or here just getting involved after she had told other people about the importance of not getting involved and letting the situation to handle itself. So again, consistent with Emma, but hopefully something that she can learn from here.
Mm-hmm. Spike and Snake are discussing their relationship on a pier, and Spike says no more secrets, and they have known each other since they were kids, and they are really great friends and everything. But Snake thinks that they're only supposed to be friends and nothing else. So a little wedding turmoil here.
A little cold feet, from Snake here is revisiting that of first it's, hey, did we race into this too much, but it's, hey, we've actually known each other a long time, like how could we be racing into it? And Snake was really questioning, hey, is this like that much of a family if the dynamic is that you're sharing things with your daughter and not with me, we're supposed to be partners in this. I think this was a really, really tender moment for them, kind of coming to that realization of the trust that's needed and openness that they need and can have to make this marriage work and make this family work. So real honesty on both parts that I appreciated and I thought really was played well by the actors.
Mm-hmm. Emma runs to Sean's house, of all places. She tells Sean about everything she did, and Sean says everything will work out. Emma then tells Sean that if this wedding happens, he's invited to the reception and that the party starts at 3 p.m. Again, if it happens. Everyone is waiting for Spike and Snake at the church. JT and Toby are discussing how long they are grounded for when Craig says Fancy is in attendance today.
Yeah, a little surprising there. I was not sure. Thankfully, they do tie it together and explain why. But sure enough, she pulls up to the wedding, and we get a nice comedic scene of JT and Toby fighting over who can escort her to her seat.
Yep, the guys are arguing who will escort Fancy to her seat, but another guy says he's got this. I can only say that's her pimp or bodyguard.
Maybe, or maybe it's the club DJ. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, and we learn here that she's the one who she does Spike's hair. She's her hairdresser, so that is why she would be present at the wedding in the first place. So we've got students invited to the wedding, hairdressers invited to the wedding. A real eclectic bunch here.
Yeah, we didn't get to that part yet, but I understand where you're coming from. I got you though. So then Emma arrives and Caitlin asks Lucy to fix Emma's hair. And then Spike and Snake are discussing how the pregnancy happened. When Spike was on the pills, she says it's 98% effective, meaning that there's a 2% window, and Snake says that they just got the luck of the draw.
Yep. Yeah. This is a really very realistic, conversation between them. And Snake is kind of leaning negative, saying we're the unlucky 2%. We just happen to be in there, and Spike pointing out, as how a lot of people would view this as a blessing, and Snake saying, it's not that I don't want kids at all. He had considered that this was a lot going on, and they needed to plan better. But Spike, with the real kind of hammered home message, he says life doesn't always allow you to plan, and you need to be able to adapt and work with it, and they can do so together and be stronger as a result. So again, a real real heartfelt moment as the two of them are reconciling here and uniting in what will be their wedding, and also just like coming together to really forge this family.
Yep, like you said, Spike says Snake is against kids, but he says he didn't say that. Spike says they can do this, and they are willing to do this. So we're gonna have a wedding here. Emma's outside, and she sees Spike and Snake running to their wedding as they get married in their street clothes, and the couple says, "I do."
There we go. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Forget the rented tux, forget the wedding dress. I think this was, very fitting to their characters, and their friends got to be dolled up, and it carried the same love that that's been consistent for them, and that's what's important.
So at the reception, Spike says hi to a woman named Connie, who we find out was Miss Fancy, and Snake is shocked that Spike knows her and confesses that Connie or Miss Fancy was stripping for Snake, and Spike says, "Yeah, I do her hair, or like that's Spike's hairdresser. I forget." Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So she does her hair, and as he says, finally like comes clean. Hey, we said no more lies. She was the dancer there, and he's met with a surprising response from Spike. Instead of being angry, she kind of chuckles and says, "Hey, what she does with her body is fine, is her business, but hey, take it easy, Snake. I'm not so happy about that," but they're able to move past and kind of laugh it off as that openness is what brought them together, and they're truly like starting this family here in a good way.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Joey catches the bouquet and he gives it to Caitlin, and then Joey asks Caitlin to dance, and they start to dance. JT and Toby all dance with Fancy, but then again the bodyguard or guy friend that Fancy broad cuts in and was like, "Get out of here, I'm dancing with this one." Emma sees Sean by a tree. They start to talk, and then Sean asks Emma to dance, and they kiss. Before we wrap this up, John, are you a little surprised that Manny wasn't dancing with Craig? I know they had that bad date, but I feel like Craig could have been like, "Hey, Manny, do you want to dance?"
No, I had never thought of it, but yeah, that's a good point. We didn't get, even did we see Manny at the wedding in here? I'm not even sure if we did. And Craig, we saw getting the picture with Caitlin and Joey and Angie, kind of showing that family unit starting, which I thought was really nice. If anything, this episode kicked that storyline into motion too, as Joey and Caitlin reconnected, and plants the seeds for what we'll see in future seasons, as maybe they can rekindle this love that carried the original Degrassi for so long. No, you're right. I'm surprised we didn't get any mention of Craig and Manny here, but the focus really is on Emma and Sean, and that relationship finally reaching some more
reconciliation.
Some real affiliation here, as they've kind of danced around it for this season after the party at Ashley's house, and now we're really going to have them come together in a meaningful way.
Yep. So again, Sean and Emma, they kiss as we wrap up this two-parter here. So Spike and Snake are married, and I mean, we know that they are back together essentially, but again, it's like guessing, are they back? Like, is that the kiss that gets Emma and Sean into a true relationship here again? I mean, were they even really a couple? I mean, I guess so. They went on a couple of dates here and there, but it's not like they were really a couple, were they?
No, but given the junior high status of all of this, those things get blown up into more, grander relationships and loves of our life than than they maybe deserve. So, yeah, I think it's fine playing it here in that way. It was nice to see that reconciled and coming together. Really, just a wonderfully contained episode that brings a lot of the characters that we've come to like forward and bring them together again, so that we can move forward with this like new kind of families and couples as Degrassi progresses.
Yep. MVP, John, who do you have?
I'd go with just like the married couple, Snake and Spike, as a combined MVP. They did a lot of the heavy lifting here, dealing with the core drama of the unplanned pregnancy, and also really establishing why they are right for each other, and came together to support and make that family work. So I would give it to that combined unit of Snake and Spike.
I would too, if you weren't going to give it to Spike all the way, because I really thought that Spike played a very good role here, trying to figure out what to do. And she really did a great job on navigating Snake to come to realization that they do belong together and that they can do this too. Because again, it felt like they were both going to pull out of this right away, pun intended, because they didn't do that before the baby happened. They were going to pull out of this wedding, and then Spike might have gotten that abortion. But again, Spike really coming to her senses of saying, we can do this. And Snake's like, okay, I trust you, and we're going to get through this together.
Yep. Yeah. It's interesting that it would be two central characters from the original series that get the shine here, but I think it's really meaningful that they do, and it's great to see that even though we are in the next generation of Degrassi, that those ties to the first show are still important, and that their values and their stories will color the world of Degrassi just as much.
I think this is really the first. I mean, we might have given the MVP in the first episode to Mr. Simpson, but I feel like this might have been the first one. I'm trying to think when Craig got caught stealing the car, if I gave the MVP to Joey for being that father figure that, really had to lay down the hammer with Craig as well.
Yeah, the adults don't always get a lot of time to shine in these episodes. In this series, they're usually kind of just supporting characters who are getting in the way of our main high schoolers or junior high students. So to let their story be the driver here was really good, and they made it work.
Yep, LVP, John.
Man, tough to say. Does anybody really deserve it in this collection of episodes? I feel like in a wedding, we have so much positive energy. It's hard to point to an LVP.
I'm not saying she's the full LVP, but she is a candidate for LVP. It's Emma, because she got involved where she shouldn't have gotten involved. I know she was doing it right for her conscience and where her heart was, but again, Manny said, stay out of it. Let them deal with it.
Yeah. I would agree with you there. If anything, I don't know. I'm always happy to throw some shade at the JT Toby pairing, as while they provided some comic relief here, and we're involved in the stripper storyline.
You could also, John, I feel like you could also give it to Lucy for throwing the kids line, but also what did Lucy really do in the episode?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, Lucy there.
Yep. Well, that's going to do it from us here, wrapping up the White Wedding saga, parts 1 and 2. But, John, before we go, do you have anything that you want to direct the listeners to?
Oh, boy. Hey, check out the 1995 collection that's going on Place to Be Nation and North South. I think there's been just such like fun revisits to pop culture moments from that year. Especially, I think we're going to, in the Halloween season, be doing some recaps of Halloween Havoc, one of the more really, really disastrous pay-per-views in a while. And I know JT and Marcus broke down King of the Ring 95 recently, which was a fun trip back to that. And especially, always check out our kind of companion podcast, the 90210 So guys. Just covered the graduation of West Beverly High. So if you want to see Donna and David, reminisce about Donna and David dressing like Wayne and Garth, and as the seniors all get ready to move off to college, that was a really fun visit as well.
Yep, and we'll see what the college years bring us. What Saved by the Bell couldn't.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Both at California University, but they never crossed paths.
Yep. Yeah, well, Tiffany Ann Thiessen will cross paths with them soon enough.
Exactly.
I asked JT, I said to him, did season 3, like after they graduate, make you want to watch more? And I asked him, like, is season 3 always like the make or break? And he said, yeah, it did make me want to watch more, and that season 3 is always like the make or break season. If you get past season 2, you can hold on and be like, hopefully season 3 gets the show off and running, basically.
Well, that's what we're up against now, too, right? After White Wedding, we're moving into...
Yeah.
Yeah. So
well, not really. It's like the halfway point of season 2. We still have some loose ends to tight up. Like, this isn't the season finale of season 2. It's like the halfway point.
It feels like it.
Yeah, but it was a really good halfway point, too, yeah. I mean, it feels like when you have to go back to, who ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin? No, just put Rikishi in it.
Yeah, no, I think this is a great standalone episode that you could watch at any point and not really need to have a lot of connection with the characters. It could work as a pilot for people who were coming into the show, or it could work as even a series finale here. So really, really strong work all around, even though
go ahead.
Find myself skipping over in the past.
Yep. As for me, you can mostly find me on the Place to Be Nation wrestling feed. I have 2 podcasts over there. I have Extreme Resurrection, where me and Steve Riddle, we are going through ECW on Sci-Fi from 2006 to 2010. We are coming off of WrestleMania 24 in 2008, where Kane became the ECW champion, defeating Chavo Guerrero in 12 seconds to become ECW champion. So Kane has the run. Kane has the title now. CM Punk is Money in the Bank, so we'll see if he's going to cash in on Kane for the ECW title. And Chavo Guerrero gets his rematch at Backlash. That and a couple of debuts. And, Colin Delaney is still trying to get his ECW contract. And I also have Nation Invasion, where I look back at the Invasion era of 2001 between the WWF and the Alliance. Me and Jeremy Nichols are coming down to the last Raw and SmackDown from November 12th and November 15th, 2001, right before Survivor Series. We see that
nothing says ECW like Kane versus Chavo Guerrero, right?
Yeah. We see that infamous Paul Heyman promo that he took shots on Vince McMahon on SmackDown. Mick Foley consolidating and going to unify all the belts at Survivor Series, and an infamous singing episode as Stone Cold and The Rock sing Margaritaville. But that's not on the Peacock edition, so you'll have to find it as well. Well, that's going to do it from us here on Pop Goes Degrassi. He's John Kesselika. I'm James Grunberg, and we will see you next time.